Hello, Internet. Benz, Maxwell, and Barrett here.
Hi.
I was prepping that for minutes.
That was good.
I came up with that ages ago, and I was like, yeah.
We should keep it.
We're here to talk to you about Atomega. I pronounced it right, so I've done my job, to be honest.
We think we're pronouncing it right. It has to be, right?
It's a new shooter. Interesting. From Ubisoft. Weird. That's like super small. Super small. So what is this game?
So
you played it?
I spent a few hours playing it with the horrendously good at the game devs on Friday, just gone. So it's from the Grow Home team.
Okay.
It's one map, one mode. You start as an atom,
right?
And you have to collect mass, and basically you win by getting the most points. Okay. The points come from mass. You can get that mass either by running around like a coward and staying out of the way of laser fire and just trying to get as big as you can, or you can tackle the other players and steal it from them and shoot about. But as you gain mass, you get bigger, as with anything that gains mass.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And the bigger you get, the slower you become, the slower your laser becomes.
So this is a simulation of my real life, clearly.
Yes, like your laser now is
it's reasonable,
less frequent than it was.
Yeah, exactly. But it could be better if I just consume more mass.
But you're more powerful.
Yes.
Each shot, whilst delivered slower, does more damage, right?
But also you're larger, and the map itself is kind of full of nooks and crannies and things to fall into.
Yes, so
or not, depending on your size.
Yeah, the map's really intricate, really big, and it has lots of tiny tunnels, some with sort of boosting pads that speed you around, and places to hide. And like the first form, I think, is called a Zoa, which is like your little fish. You're just made of blocks,
really
but you're sort of swimming. Yeah, and you're really quick as well. You're like a sort of pro Overwatch player zipping around.
Yeah, you're super fast.
And you've got this really rapid laser that it just sort of pings off the bigger things. But yeah, the larger you get, the fewer of these nooks, crannies, tunnels, whatever you can use, and the bigger target you are, obviously. And because you're sort of lumbering around as well, you get all these little characters coming out, taking pot shots at you, and then zipping back into the hiding place.
And you can like nearly one-shot them, or maybe two-shot them, depending on if you're too big. But they don't have to pay any attention to you. You don't have to, like, if you're paying attention to them, then the other players that are larger can do quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's like a gnat bite.
Yeah, it reminds me of the dynamic between playing as a pilot and playing as a Titan in Titanfall. Yeah. Where once you're in a Titan, the map is actually quite simple. But when you're a pilot, it's very, very complicated. And there's loads of different routes you can take, and you have a lot more movement options. But then when you're larger, you kill things quite quickly. So on top of all of that, there are also power-ups.
Yes. So the power-ups you get from little yellow cubes that are sort of around the place, and there's a variety of things. Like there's a shield, which is good if you're in a one-on-one firefight. You can suddenly drop that just as your health is nearly gone. There's one that gives you more damage. There's one that recovers your health over time. There's one that allows you to steal mass. So every shot you get takes a little bit of mass from the opponent. And there's one that speeds you up.
There's one that combines a bunch of them that I got. So I played one game of this that I got yesterday. So you get the mass stealing and the speed and the power all at once.
I didn't actually see that one in my session. That sounds really overpowered.
Yeah, I think maybe you only get it if you're, because I wasn't doing very well.
Okay.
I think maybe you only get it in that situation. So do you think the power-ups
It's the blue shell.
Oh, yeah, it's the blue shell. Do you think the power-ups add to the formula?
Oh no, definitely, because every time you feel quite vulnerable when you're walking around, and when you get those power-ups, you suddenly realise you've got an ace in your pocket. Yeah. There are other things you can do as well, like shooting out these sort of beam bridges to knock people down. But you also have a teleport button. Yeah. So the teleport button is available at all times. It flings you back to one of these mass generators. They're like wells that chuck out.
Yeah, there's a few of them on the map. I've seen at least like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, and sometimes they surge, and there's a big yellow beam, so everyone sort of rushes for them.
Yeah.
But if you teleport, you drop down one evolutionary stage. You lose a bit of mass. Huh?
Of 7 stages?
Yeah, I think it's 7. We'll talk about the top stage in a minute. That's the big one. Yeah. But well, obviously it's the big one, but it's the most important one also. But by doing that, you avoid sort of being knocked back down to the atom stage, which is tiny, and having to start again. You can steal mass from fallen enemies, and the sort of mass builds up as the game goes. So it's a faster progression the next time you do it. But yeah, if you strategically zip out, you leave a bit of mass, you've got less time to go, but also you lose out on gaining any mass from the kill. So it's a nice little thing. There's also a stomp button, which I haven't really mastered, but you can drop out.
I think it's literally just so you if you jump, you're not totally dead.
Yeah, you can
like jump at the wrong time, because you can double jump and stuff, and it's a very floaty jump. It goes like a really long way. Like you can jump up a whole building.
Yeah,
pretty much no matter what stage you're on. And yeah, it's pretty intense. I found the difference between those. There's the prime stage, so they all kind of look like animals.
The ape.
Yeah, that one is super slow. And before that, it's like okay, but then it gets super slow at that point.
Yeah.
And then actually gaining mass at that point is pretty challenging as well. Like I never made it to Omega, which is the top version, which is quite special.
Yeah. So on the gaining mass thing, it's interesting because you are going slower, and you suddenly don't have access to all the mass that's hidden away in the
including
spaces.
some of the like mass generators, because they are inside, and those do create.
And the jump pads stop working because you're too big, and you can't get just under some ways. But yeah, so if you can get enough mass, get to the top stage, you become the Omega form, which you see it's a portmanteau. Atom, Omega, Atomega.
Wow.
There you go. You become this sort of god thing with a big laser. It's
quite terrifying for everyone involved.
Yeah, it screams and you fire out this huge laser, but your laser now sucks in mass as well. So any blocks you target from miles away will just come at you.
You can barely move though.
You are the slowest you can be, but your laser will destroy anything it touches, even the giants, very quickly. Everyone, if they're playing properly, suddenly rallies together and is firing at you.
In my game. The guy who got the Omega won quite easily.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, so Omega is basically on a timer. It's not a permanent thing, and it's ticking down. You have to gain mass to keep topping that up.
Yeah.
If people are chipping away at you, they are taking your mass as well, and so it becomes this sort of balance of power. You're trying to stay as long as you can. You get a personal best as well, like how long you manage to stay in it.
You don't drop down to the next stage either, do you? When
no,
once
the time's run out, you drop down to an atom again. But you've got a huge points bonus, and it is only points.
Yeah, kills don't matter at all, which is why the teleport thing isn't as bad, because when you teleport away, they don't get a kill, but it doesn't matter that they don't get a kill because it's all about the mass. And if you're fighting over some mass,
you're making a strategic decision because you've lost out on mass you might have won as well. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you killed them, then you would have got a lot of mass.
If you teleport away, they do get mass. By the way, you leave a little.
It's as much as presumably it is as much as the amount that you drop.
Yes,
in,
probably.
Size,
probably.
Right? Whereas if you die, I think you drop all of your mass.
Yeah. Well,
so
probably.
Yeah, like it'll be scaled that way. It won't, even if it isn't exact.
You can also be really mean, and if you're near the edge, you can jump off and teleport, and then they have to watch your mass just tumble down into
or
the
they could jump off and then double jump back on, but that would be challenging. That would be challenging.
These are techniques we will learn in time.
Yeah. So is it good?
Yeah,
I like my one game, but not in a way where I would play it every day for a year.
Yeah, this is the thing. I don't know how long it would keep my attention.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I think it won't. I just, at this stage, having only played it for a few hours, I haven't got bored. The map is incredibly intricate. It's the different strategies available, even though the kind of setup is quite simple, are fairly broad, I would say. You can just try and gather mass,
and I think
you can get
people
aggressive.
Learn like strategies, and obviously there'll be a lot of complicated stuff to do with when you jump and how you jump and how you move around other players and exactly how many shots it takes to take down a prime versus a saw or whatever. But all of that depends on a lot of people getting into it.
Yep.
It's not free.
It's not free. It's not.
Don't know how much it is.
We don't know yet. But it's on Steam, which
means it has access to a lot of people. It's not limited to you play.
Exactly. Which is an interesting decision. And I think. So I spoke to the devs. There'll be there's an interview up on the site you can read, but they talked about wanting to create a shooter that you could squeeze into a half-hour period of free time. So one that you would get half an hour of gameplay from.
Yeah, because you get three games in that time.
Yeah, each round is 10 minutes. Yeah, and that kind of sense of progress. I always find when people tell me about a mechanic where you have to keep leveling up or and starting again, it sounds like it'd be really tedious, but this is such a fast process.
Yeah, it's so quick. Like
it feels good.
You can get to prime in like 30 seconds or a minute if you're just kind of running around and maybe you kill somebody or whatever.
You start learning your routes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're like, okay, if I go to this at this time or whatever, and everyone starts in the same place, then you kind of all jump around the map, and it looks really cool. So it looks brilliant. It looks really nice, and it's a really good idea. And if a lot of people playing it, I think it'd be really interesting. But it does have one map, one mode.
Yep.
It isn't free. I mean, I can't imagine it being like more than $10.
You'd think.
you'd think, like, unless they have a massive plan to expand it, or they just think it's... And, like, you know, I'm all for developers charging more for the games. Honestly, I think games are very cheap at the moment. But there is, like, you can't just charge more for your game because people just go, well, I'm not going to buy that. I'll just buy this cheaper thing. So, depending on exactly how much it costs, I think it has a lot of potential.
I think it'll make a really good siege sorbet. After, you know, tucking into a hearty siege meal,
a hearty amount of siege.
Have a little Atomega sorbet, and then maybe an actual espresso, and back into siege. Meal number 2.
What if it was just all siege? That's isn't that what it's mostly been?
I'm happy to indulge.
Okay. Very good. So that's Atomega. We're pretty excited for it. I think it's going to be good. It basically depends how many people are playing it in 3 weeks.
Because I'm sure lots of people are playing it as well. That's probably worth.
Yeah, and then you know there's all-made matchmaking and all the rest of it. Yeah. So it all just depends exactly how many people pick it up, exactly how successful it's going to be. Hopefully they can expand on it and that sort of thing. And presumably they have plans to do that, but they're not talking about them yet.
They said they'll see how it goes.
Okay, I see. That seems like they are seeing exactly the same thing that we're waiting to see before they decide how much money they're going to invest. So, if you like the look of it, do pick it up. It should be... Is it going to be live on Steam when this video goes live?
Yes, depending on when this video goes live, which I don't know at this point.
Okay.
But probably.
It's probably live on Steam now. The Steam page is definitely up, and you can definitely read all about it on the website as well. We've got an interview and like a kind of full preview/review type thing from Ben himself. He will say it's good, probably.
Still here. Yeah.
It's all right.
I think I will.
Hope you enjoyed the video and that you enjoy the game. Please do hit like if you enjoy either, and do subscribe for more. We've got plenty of delicious content coming up as we head into the end of the year and all of the video games come out.
Sorbets, meat, whatever.
There'll be so many meals. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.